What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So we're gonna check out inside Fast and Furious most dangerous stunts. Now, the one thing about the Fast and Furious series is over time it became less about street racing, illegal street racing, and more about spy espionage work. Like, these characters became superheroes, and so did their damn vehicles. Their vehicles started defying laws of physics, and did it make any look of sense? No. But was it entertaining? Yes. Now the later movies have they started to lose it even more with the nonsensical BS that your vehicles can do. But nevertheless, we're going to check out some of the greater stunts that were performed by actual vehicles on the set of the Fast and Furious franchise. And it should be dope to see how they were able to get some of these things to happen. So we appreciate all love and support. Let's check out some of the most craziest stunts that we've ever seen in the Fast and Furious franchise.
3, 2, 1.
From cars falling out of an airplane to dragging a giant vault through the city.
Crazy.
Holy cow.
And even smashing cars with a wrecking ball, the Fast and Furious saga takes no shortcuts when it comes to filming.
Hey, we're hot. Here we go.
I don't know why it just skipped. I hate when it does that. Just randomly skipped.
Takes no shortcuts when it comes to filming death-defying scenes. The car stunts have gotten riskier with every film, but how are the craziest stunts filmed? And more importantly, what's in store for Fast 10? Let's find out. Welcome to Explained. Fast and Furious is probably one of the most adrenaline-pumping franchises out there. And that's because there's very little CGI.
Yeah.
Even the early films like Too Fast, Too Furious had 95% of their car stunts filmed for real.
Which is crazy impressive.
The stunt is planned carefully with computer-generated sequences so everybody knows what needs to be done. And then the stunt is filmed in parts.
Let's stand by. We are hot. Okay, we're hot. Here we go. Ready. Frank, roll. And action.
That's wild.
Let's break down the most dangerous stunt in each movie from Fast 5 to Fast 10.
And think about it. They don't really get another take to do some of these crazy stunts. You kind of want to get it in the first take because trying to reset everything costs so much damn money. So they have a budget, and this is what the budget is, and they're trying not to go over the damn budget. So a lot of these stunts, they got to be done precise and on the first try, because it's hard to reset destroying multiple buildings and vehicles and all this other stuff. That's time and money. Like, it's very tough to do that multiple times.
Starting with the vault heist.
Very dope scene.
The scene of the vault being dragged through the streets is terrifying, but what's even crazier is that 98% of it was real. Different vaults were used for different parts of this scene. One was a fake vault driven on wheels for this small clip. The other was a real 4,000 kilogram vault. And they actually had two of these.
Bro?
Because it was so heavy, the Dodge Chargers were fitted with strong frames. Then they took it onto a real street. But they couldn't just wing it. Each crash was carefully planned. For example, the vault is literally tumbling on this turn and crashing into the concrete sidewalk pillars.
That's crazy.
And Andy Gill, the stunt driver for Fast and Furious, told us the Chargers had to be in sync while driving to maintain control where the vault was going.
2 cars had to pull it. That's kind of why we went to 2 cars. We had to learn how to drive. Both cars pull it, but if you want to make a turn, then the guy on the inside has to initiate the turn. The guy on the outside has to give slack and let it do what it does. But then to stop it, the guy on the outside has to take over and stop it, and the guy on the inside has to not run over the cable. It was a dance between 2 drivers
the precision just to get that couple of seconds of that dope scene. Kudos to the stunt drivers that were involved in that, because that's very, very impressive. It's not easy to do. You don't really have too many times you can redo the shot. And like I said, this was only a few seconds in the movie. It's iconic, it's memorable, but the amount of preparation that went into this is pretty cool, bro.
We had to learn. We were in a parking lot for probably, I don't know, a week doing it until we finally figured it out.
Wow.
Then the special effects team constructed a fake bank building in a parking lot. The vault was mounted on a huge hydraulic ram that shot it out, and it crashed into the bank building. The vault being dragged on the bridge is also legit. And get this, they literally wrecked around 190 to 210 cars while filming the entire vault heist. Next is the tank on the highway in Fast and Furious 6. Chase scenes were pushed to a whole new level when they introduced a real Chieftain World War II tank to the mix. The tank weighed over 60 tons, and they had 2 of these monsters. They even customized them and upped their speed from 48 kilometers per hour to 96 kilometers per hour.
Damn!
The real tanks only do 30 miles an hour. So far, we've done over 60 miles an hour.
It's a custom tank.
Oh
Very
my!
appropriate for Fast and Furious.
First, they shot the tank bursting out of a moving truck. Then, they constructed a cement ramp and it burst through it again.
That's crazy.
The scene was shot on a deserted highway in Spain, and it was one of the hardest that they shot because if the tank hit anything it wasn't supposed to, there was no going back.
That was awesome, Lee. We hit both cars, dead.
To make it even more interesting, they figured they'd make the tank drive against incoming traffic for real.
So we had meeting after meeting with the little cars and where everybody was going, so everybody knew exactly what they were doing. So we said, can we run over a car with the transmission, with the engine, everything in it? And they ran over it like butter. I mean, it just...
Oh my God. And once again, when you're watching it, it's just crazy popcorn action fun, but they are really out there crushing cars like it's nothing with a legit tank moving at those speeds is crazy.
Didn't even slow it down. But it looked better because it crunched and everything else. We had effects, put a tube in the cars, and they would fire the cars on air out into the street in front of the tank. So they're moving when we hit them. You would not want to be in front of them.
They even blew up part of a bridge in the process. Next is the airplane jump in Furious 7.
Crazy stunt
This
here.
death-defying stunt where the actors jump out of an airplane in their cars, free fall, and parachute into the mountains was insane.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ridiculous, bro.
To pull
That's
this off,
ridiculous,
it started
bro.
with the C-130's pilot. He had to make sure they were at exactly 12,000 feet and above their drop zone so the cars wouldn't fall on people. The 3 cameramen flying with parachutes and helmet cameras were from Red Bull. And they had to maneuver around the cars in
Of course they were from Red Bull. It would make sense.
midair and capture everything.
Oh my
One thing
God.
they couldn't control entirely during the free fall was how fast the cars were dropping and their movement in midair from left to right of the camera guys.
The cars just wanted to tumble. They just wanted, and it was very hard for the jumpers to get anywhere because it was tumbling and moving around, so they didn't feel comfortable getting close to it. I suggested, well, would a drone chute work? If we have a small drone chute to stabilize the car, that worked out perfectly. And so then we were able to get exit from the airplane, the falling, everything all in one shot. And then at a certain height, the altimeter on the car chute would automatically deploy.
Wow.
So the camera guys had their altimeters. They knew exactly when it was going to deploy, so they knew to get away from it and everything else.
Even when they opened the parachutes at 5,000 feet, it was pretty nerve-wracking for the helicopter pilot who had to film this as well. The guy had to make sure they were capturing the right shots, avoid chopping up the skydivers who were all over the place, and avoid flying into the falling cars.
Man.
Next is the frozen.
The precision that everyone has to be on to make that one scene work. This is why, even though people shit on the Fast and the Furious franchise, you can't say it isn't some of the most Hollywood action-y stuff you've ever seen, because you've never seen cars do some of the stuff they have done. So I will give them credit. If you're a fan of cars and want to be entertained by cars doing crazy shit, this is the movie for you. And that's why I've always been a fan, because I love cars. So
Frozen Lake in The Fate of the Furious. This race across the lake was shot in Iceland, and it had 42 inches of frozen ice.
woo.
The crazy part is they actually used a real Lamborghini and not a kit car.
First car we had out there was a Lambo. So I said, all right, let's bring Lambo out with the regular tires. Well, they couldn't even get it there. So then we go to short studs, and it worked pretty good. It was still slippery.
Wow.
And by that time, I had 2 of my stunt drivers there. Really good at what they do and drifting and everything else. And with their input, we ended up going with mediums and longs, kind of intermittent. We would change out depending on what we want to do. If they wanted to drift, they would go with medium. If they want to really turn and not drift, they would go the long.
They're drifting on ice in a Lamborghini. What are we talking about? It's insane.
We got the right parameters with what the studs were, and he was doing 360s all day long.
What's even more insane was that they simulated actual explosions.
Oh my God.
And they had 16 cars out on the lake at a time.
Oh my, that's crazy.
So to make sure the crew and cast didn't actually fall in, they brought in ice engineers. These guys measured the strength and thickness of ice at intervals. They also had a team of rescue divers and medics.
One of the
Wow.
coolest thing I ever saw was I was on one end of the run, and I'd sent, I think it was 14 cars to the other end, and they're all running towards me. And all of a sudden, they disappeared. And what had happened is the entire frozen lake, they were pushing a wave in front of them, and that entire ice came up like this. So I'm seeing this hump of ice come
wow.
at me, and then I go up and over it, and then they come in.
The submarine was
Wow.
CGI, but the explosion to show it bursting through the ice was real. They took dynamite and gallons of ammonium nitrate and hid it in buckets below a certain portion of the ice. Then they towed empty military cars over it and triggered a giant explosion that sent the vehicles flying 30 feet into the air.
That's it. I'm sorry. It just makes me laugh like a goddamn kid, man. That's, once again, seeing this in theaters, it's dope, but seeing them actually do it, the actual stunt itself is, it's fucking crazy, bro. I would love, I'm not even gonna lie to you, just one day on the set of them doing one of these stunts, I would love that shit, bro. That shit would be so cool. Oh my God.
Then comes Peligro Minas in F9. This scene had more explosions than any scene in the previous movies. It was shot in
Sheesh.
Thailand, and they basically dug massive holes in the ground and rigged it with pounds of explosives. So every time a car drove over one, it created 20 to 30 foot fireballs.
Oh,
Then they custom built the Marauder. This beast was as armored as a tank, and it could literally smash through anything.
Jesus.
Finally, it's time for Fast 10. No Fast and Furious movie is complete without a chase scene, and Fast 10 seems to have a lot of them. Let's start with this intense chase through Italy with the Carabinieri police and lots of explosions.
Oh. Just craziness.
There's also an awesome gold-plated Lamborghini
Yep.
that's racing through tiny lanes.
That's cool. That's
And check
cool.
out this heart-stopping giant iron ball that rolls out of control on the street.
The rolling ball, that was tough. We needed an 8-foot ball that he built, and we put an axle through it and put it on overhead wires. And we had a push and pull so we could control it anywhere it went in a straight line. We had 2 different ones. We had a full steel one that was 1.5 tons. That's the ones that went through cars, just does a lot of stuff. Then we had a lightweight one, which we interacted with around motorcycles and everything else, which was 800 pounds.
This thing is huge, and they even set it on fire. Have a look at how it completely destroys this bus.
Jeez, bro. Oh, that's crazy.
How crazy do you think Fast 10 will get? Tell us about them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Explain.
Oh, it got very crazy. It got ridiculously crazy. But nah, this was definitely cool, man. It just puts a perspective on the amount of time, work, and energy goes into making sure that these stunts are flawless and perfect just for a few seconds on being on camera. That's it. These stunts and scenes are literally just a few seconds on camera, but it takes months and months of preparation to make sure it looks right, man. So comment down below, let me know, what's your favorite Fast and Furious film out of all of them in the franchise? Let me know down below. But I appreciate all the love and support y'all showing on the channel. Road to 10K. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.